everyone, Lou here. You know what I love? Visual novels. You know what I also love? Cheesy otome games, because I am a sucker for pretty guys. Why not combine that today and talk about one game that I'm sure you've all heard about popping up every now and then. NU Carnival. NU Carnival is an 18+ phone game made in Taiwan by Infinity Alpha in collaboration with SG Arts, which I think makes NSFW games. I couldn't really find much since all of it was like, we're a proud company who works in blah 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 and here's our office. But that's what I'm guessing based off a quick Google search. If it wasn't obvious enough, by the way, NU Carnival is not for anybody under the age of 18, period. If you are under the age of 18 and watching this video, please do not watch or play NU Carnival because it is not a game for kids, and I don't think it's safe for teenagers to be in an adult space, so if you'd like to watch something else, feel free to watch one of my other videos. But let's continue talking about this 18+ game. NU Carnival is very interesting though, because while it was released worldwide in English, Chinese, Japanese, and Korean on February 24th, 2022, it wasn't on the American App Store for quite a while. This is pretty obvious, but it was due to the spicy scenes and 18+ content, so the game actually had to be downloaded a really weird way through an executable on your phone, and I don't know, the install system back then seemed kind of weird and kind of sus to me, so I never attempted it. However, to everyone's complete shock, NU Carnival was finally released onto the App Store January 25th of this year. It's called NU Carnival Bliss as part of a massive second anniversary update. Overall, from NU Carnival fans, NU Carnival has had a massively praised RPG system and fan service-filled game. Many, including myself, praised it for having some damn fine men, no ads that take 400 years and make you have to play the game to skip them, simple RPG mechanics, and its great voice acting, while others shame it for being pretty greedy, crashing easily, and the massive grinding you need to progress through the story. So let's start with the story ourselves and see if any of these critiques on the game are actually true or if they're, you know, a bit exaggerated. Our protagonist Aiden is a 23-year-old guy working in an adult toy company where he designs adult toys. He's probably the first openly gay protagonist in a visual novel or otome game I've seen since, I don't know, Sweet Pool maybe? Good for him though. Nice to see the representation and open admittance. His company receives a pretty rainbow gemstone as a thank you gift for, I guess, giving good toys. Oh boy, and Aiden touches it, where he's then transported to the fantasy world of Klein and finds out his grandfather was a super ultra powerful wizard who left for Earth, which sent the magic system in this world completely haywire. Aiden didn't know his grandfather because he grew up an orphan, so he had no idea his grandpa was originally a grand and powerful wizard. Whoopsies. In order to find a way back to the modern world, Aiden has to work with his servants and members of this big gem wizard clan to restore the magic back properly in the world and fix the chaos going on. His servants are Aster, a bratty little vampire guy, and Morve, a incubus. I mean, there's really no other way to describe him other than he's just an incubus. Now, in this world, and what makes this a yaoi game, is that magical energy or essence has to be restored by swapping fluid. Normal people, this means doing some kind of blood pact, I guess, but in this game with a bunch of spicy, horny guys, it's swapping another type of fluid, if you catch my drift. This basically means Aiden is in one big gay polycule living out the dream of anyone who likes men, which is having a whole ass harem of dedicated hot guys. What confuses me is do they all know they're banging the same guy? Like, Yakumo, Edmund, Olivine, and Garu have pretty romantic feelings for Aiden, so I don't know how or why they're cool with him getting down and dirty with every other guy, if it seems like it is to renew their mana bar, if you catch my drift, but whatever. Either way, I see this as the world's biggest polycule, so whatever. I'm on chapter 4 right now and did a Western-themed event story, but basically it's all about Aiden going around from place to place to help an area in need, despite having zero magic skills. I guess he just helps burst out magic inside of whatever hot guy he meets, if you catch my drift. Each guy is also pretty different and captures a famous boys love or yaoi couples trope since the beginning of time, really. You have the literal puppy man, the tease, the tsundere, the literal embodiment of human sunshine, the mysterious big tall sexy guy, and the way too enthusiastic weirdo. Just because they're all really one note doesn't make them not enjoyable either. I think these characters are very cute and bounce off each other very well. Hell, some of them make you feel like they probably have feelings for each other anyway, like Blade and Garu or Morve and Aster. That said, this story really doesn't take itself seriously. It knows that you're only here to look at gorgeous pretty men, and it shows. Especially with Aiden and his comments about how these men are so gorgeous that it feels completely unrealistic. It's not self-aware in that it makes fun of itself, but it's enough where you know you're not here to see overwhelming angst or anyone dying a horrible, painful death, like this is a bad ending and slow damage or dramatical murder. Overall, the story is really fun and I love it. The gameplay is pretty simple. I swear, I've seen some mobile game before play like NU Carnival, but I don't remember what mobile game it is in particular, but this is as basic of an RPG as you can get. You have fire, grass, and water element system, much like Twisted Wonderland, with 2 elements of light and dark that go against each other. There's no items for your party, no weapons or anything like that to make a build like in Honkai Impact or the Fire Emblem mobile games, but there is some variety in choosing your team. I couldn't personally figure out a tank system, but how I built my team in NU Carnival was a healer, 2 single DPS, crowd DPS, and then an attack booster. I'm not saying exactly who, because unfortunately this is a gacha, so you gotta take what you get. I mean, this isn't Honkai Star Rail where they practically spoon-feed you goodies and free characters. You gotta work for this shit or fork up cash. Unlike some mobile games though, NU Carnival has an even more egregious category system. You have N-rate characters, which are basic as bare bones as you can get. R, which is basically, again, as bare bones as you can get. SR is when characters are decent and bring in some work. And SSR, which are the big sexy boys you want your grabby hands on. Now, I was incredibly lucky to receive an SSR of Olivine, Garu, and Blade, but I highly doubt people are going to be this lucky with the game and get 3 SSR characters right off the bat. How you build the character also goes 4 different ways. Basic level up, receiving doubles, which ups whatever status the character has, Ascension, which grants boosts for things like attack or HP, and Intimacy, which boosts their main ability. Intimacy is where the magic really happens, if you catch my drift. This is when you get a mini story of that character in that costume or whatever, and if it's above SR, spicy times happen. Unless it's Aster, because for some reason every SR and SSR spicy scene with Aster is just really mundane and basic. Anyway, when I say spicy, I mean spicy. The writing isn't nearly as cheesy as what I've read from other 18+ visual novels. It's not super filthy as though saying fuck and other curse words about certain body parts is somehow gonna make something inherently spicy, but it's also not so straightforward that I might as well be reading a menu at a restaurant. That said though, I've only managed to unlock Olivine's Holy Confession spicy scenes, so I don't know if other characters have different language or wording with them to match that character, like Dante's rough personality or Yakumo's softness. They really tease you though in wanting to pay for spicy scenes, because you have to unlock the first spicy scene with a key of that element, and it can be pretty difficult to obtain these keys in-game when they only really give them to you for free with the main story. Editing Lou here. So it turns out that NU Carnival Bliss on the Google Play and Apple Store, its spicy cutscenes only are heavily censored in that they are heavily toned down, heavily shortened. There's some censoring in terms of a black fade effect going around the spicy CG, if you know what I mean, as well as the cutscenes in the original NSFW version are actually fully animated, and that has been changed to just a single static image that they heavily avoid showing the more spicier bits, if you catch my drift. If you wanted the uncensored version of NU Carnival without having to look up cutscenes on Twitter or other websites, you would have to do it through some pretty sketchy means on the official website, but that's just me. If you want to unlock more with other characters, you'd have to save up a lot of duplicate gem currency or just straight up pay up, which I find kind of icky. This game isn't pay to win by any means, but it's definitely a lot grubbier than I've seen with other gacha games. I mean, for goodness sake, you can pay $15 to unlock the full chapters of every story, even though playing the main story can be an absolute breeze. The only real reward is a free SR or SSR depending on the package. And my goodness, the in-game gems to spend on summons is also expensive. Like, even Project Sekai is less ridiculous with its gem prices. And that's a pretty damn expensive gacha game too, when costumes cost as much as 20 pulls. There is also an energy system like Twisted Wonderland for the story and farming for ascension items, but they're extremely generous with this energy system that I find I never really run out of energy no matter how much I'm playing for the story or farming items. One thing I do have to agree with everyone here is the enemy power scaling is kind of ridiculous and may cause something I really hate to do in turn-based RPGs, which is grinding. I hated it in Pokemon, and I hated it here. By chapter 4, it feels like you have to grind several farming chapters just to progress, and that feels kind of icky to me. I also didn't experience any crashing or in-game problems. Usually games graphic intensive like this, with all this lively animation like NU Carnival, would have my phone so hot you could cook an egg on it. But here, the game runs flawlessly, and I didn't experience literally any problems. Overall, although you could absolutely finish the main story with relatively no problems, extra content is hard as fuck if you only have N or R ranked characters, as well as the spicy content being locked behind some pretty greedy means. I never mentioned this, but I just want to quickly mention it because I was surprised that all of these voice actors are pretty new to the industry. They also do a pretty great job, standard, and don't really sound bored or like they were forced to do this for a paycheck. I don't know, I've been watching the YouTuber Emily Dory, so I've really seen what bad voice acting for this category of visual novel can be like. Now, I say some because some of them are experienced voice actors, but changed their name because apparently it's standard for voice actors making 18+ visual novels or whatever in Japan to change their name. Although they go by a completely different name, the NU Carnival Reddit's community was able to figure out who was who, because I swear some of these voice actors were so familiar that it genuinely bothered me. Garu and Karu's voice actor is Yusuke Shirai, who voices Shumei Sasaki in Sasaki and Miyano. Yakumo's voice actor is Masamoto Nakazara, who actually voices Clear in Dramatical Murder, so we've come full circle here. Oh, he also voices Haruki Nakayama in Given and Mr. Sawaki in Wonder Egg Priority. Dante's voice actor is Yuki Ono, who voices Kyosuke Kiryu in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, and best boy ever, Josuke Higashikata. And Edmund and Blade's voice actor is Kent Ito, who voices Toya Aogi in Project Sekai, Aqua's past life in Oshinoko, and our favorite dragon, Dan Heng from Honkai Star Rail. That's pretty much what I could find. The cast is largely anonymous, but apparently they all actually really like working on NU Carnival, especially Aiden's voice actor, who goes to events for the game, and a few others like to share their boys love projects they work on, so I like hearing the voice actors are actually having a lot of fun with this game. I think they all do a great job with their characters though. If I don't know better, I would think everyone in this game was a veteran voice actor already, because some of them are super new to the industry, like Aiden's voice actor. Spicy scenes are also surprisingly not bad. Usually with yaoi and boys love content, it can get kind of cringy and cheesy, but actually it's not too cringy, so I guess that's a bonus. Overall, the voice acting is actually pretty good. I like it. NU Carnival is a really fun game. I see a lot of people call this dramatical murder for a new generation of thirsty weebs, and I feel like that sums it up pretty well. Minus gore, because thankfully this game doesn't have an ending yet as far as I know, and no bad endings or anything like that, so this is totally cool for people who don't like gory stuff like I do. You can find NU Carnival on the Google Play and Apple Store for free, but remember that certain phones behind a generation or two might not be able to handle this game and may cause crashing. What do you guys think of NU Carnival? Have you heard of this game before? I actually heard about it from following some old artists in the dramatical murder community, so I'm curious where other people might have heard of it. As always, let me know down below. Hey guys, thanks for watching! If you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you're new. If any of you would like to help support my channel in any possible way, my Ko-fi page is down below in the description, along with all of my social media. For any subscribers, new or old, who'd like to help with video ideas, or maybe just want to talk about anime or something, I have a fan server linked down below. See you next time!